Hi everybody, this is Bems.
And this is Ace, and welcome to Serving Up the Tea.
Episode 3. So Ace, what's tea for you this week?
So, I mean, it's been a strange fortnight of tennis because things are a little bit different, and it feels like it's been hard to keep up with the actual tour because we have all this Olympics chatter. Not gonna lie, I'm also looking at other sports because this is the one time.
Your gymnastics is on.
So much.
You've really been looking forward to the gymnastics.
I mean, yesterday I caught myself watching like doubles volleyball. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but it's like two people.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen that in my life, but it's Olympics. So yeah, it's been a lot of sports. Go sports.
Go sports.
As Beyonce would say. For me, what's tea is there's this tennis player who is like world number 2 for like 5 seconds, Paula Badosa, who let us know what she feels about gender parity and pay equity in tennis. And I thought it was a little problematic. So the quote, and I think this is translated from Spanish.
Yeah, she did the interview with the Spanish newspaper.
Yeah. Translated to, I have always been very clear that we are what we generate regardless of gender. So it's giving Handmaid's Tale. It's giving, I don't know.
I find this so interesting.
It rubs me the wrong way.
You see, that comment is, I think, misguided because the demand for women's sports, she's not talking about from the consumer perspective. She's talking about from the marketing perspective, right? From the buying perspective, who's buying the rights, who's sponsoring the tournaments. And if the WTA tournaments had more investment, more eyes on them, more buzz, the demand for them from the consumer side would be there as well. Because look at what's happening with the WNBA, right? It wasn't a lack of talent.
That's a great example.
Like the WNBA is on the rise right now. They have a new media deal that is rumored to be around $2.2 billion over the next 11 years, which is like about $200 million per season. Like that's not because all of a sudden we morphed new female basketball players in a lab somewhere and they're doing so much better. No.
The WNBA didn't get there with the mindset of we are what we generate. Like somebody had to be pushing for them to get more money, regardless of what they were generating at the time. Do you see what I mean?
And if we are what we generate, then the WTA should have surpassed the ATP just with the likes of the Williams sisters, if you ask me.
And with, Coco Gauff's U.S. Open final being like more watched than the men's final.
Exactly.
Globally. There are examples of women's tennis surpassing the men's, if we're comparing women's to men's.
I think that's a very easy response to give, but I also think it's like extremely corny. Sorry to say.
Yeah, it's just lacking in like any intellectual prowess. And it's unfortunate that a former world number 2 has this opinion because you would think that the top players would be the ones really thinking about how do we push women's tennis to like gender equity. But yeah, Miss Badosa, that's tea. So, Bams, what's tea?
For me, the ESPN put out their top 100 best athletes of the 21st century list. And there was a number of tennis players on there. Serena was 2. Federer was 6. Djokovic 11. Nadal 12. Murray 80. And Venus was 86.
They wrong for that.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, they wrong for that.
I was kind of like...
Because Venus, who has done so much, not even numbers aside. I mean, Murray has also done a lot for the game of tennis, the sport of tennis.
Especially in the UK.
But then I guess it comes down to the numbers because then Venus surpasses him by far.
I feel like putting Venus below Andy Murray does not make sense in any capacity. Not by impact of sport as a personality, not by results, not by impact in the society in general. Do you know what I mean? Like Venus gives back so much. She's done so much in her community. Her and Serena's impact together as like a sisterhood, like the whole, like I get it. Andy Murray was the first British person to win Wimbledon since, I don't know, the Queen was born.
Forever.
But like,
but like
Venus
Venus and Serena like single-handedly or double-handedly tackled racism in tennis. Like, come on. I forget that they can't see me. I'm reacting.
Oh, she is reacting.
I'm there like wringing my neck.
Yeah. So yeah,
Attitude.
that was tea for me. And I don't know. I just feel like people put a lot of respect on Serena. Some people still refuse to be fair. But I feel like a lot of times the respect for Venus isn't where it should be. And that was tea for me. I wasn't feeling that at all. It was ESPN putting Venus 6 places under Andy Murray.
I don't think Murray himself would approve of that because he always seems to stand up for women in tennis. That's his vibe. So they're wrong for that.
I do like that Serena was number 2 though.
Who was number 1? LeBron James.
LeBron is number 4. It's Michael Phelps number 1, Serena Williams number 2, Lionel Messi number 3, LeBron number 4, Tom Brady number 5, Federer 6, Simone Biles 7.
Okay. I mean, in the context of all of those different sports, all those different countries.
That's fair, yeah.
It is pretty incredible that they put Serena as number 2.
Yeah. Phelps was good in his day.
He's basically Aquaman.
In the flesh. But anyway,
so
there was a lot of tennis this week. Ordinarily, people leave Wimbledon and head over to North America to get ready for the hard court swing. But this year, we had players playing some of the smaller clay tournaments that occur after Wimbledon in order to prepare for the Olympics.
To get
because
back in
since
clay
they're
form.
in Paris this year, they are being held at Stade Roland Garros, which, as we know, is on clay. So it's clay season for a bit again.
Yeah.
We had some pretty cool results this week. Let's get into some match point musings. So the tournaments in the week before the Olympics were actually on an abbreviated schedule because obviously players needed to get to the Olympics. Like, for example, Musetti and Cerundolo finished their match in UMAG at like 11 p.m. and had to be in Paris today. Like, they finished it like last night at 11 and had to be in Paris today.
So crazy. I did wonder why these tournaments seemed like they were just flying past. Like one day I'd be like, oh, round 2. Next day it's finals.
To be fair, a lot of them were
Shocking.
250, so smaller draws.
Only like 32, right?
Yeah. Most of the top players though went straight to Paris to practice instead of playing in these tournaments. Except for the toppest player of all time, Mr. Rafael Nadal, who played in Bastad, which is an ATP 250 tournament. He was entered in both singles and doubles, playing with Casper Ruud in doubles. He left him, Raducanu style, though, once he got into the semifinals for singles. He was like...
he said, let's keep it focused.
Then when they asked him, he was like, we're all professionals here. Casper's fine.
I love Rafa's responses sometimes.
He's so funny.
In his pressers because it's like, let's be real. We were also excited for his doubles pairing because no one expected that he would go that far in the singles. And then it was also like his pairing with Ruud was interesting.
Ruud went to the Rafa Academy. That's where he trained. So he's a clay specialist, as they say. Although these days he's been losing on clay. But anyway, he's still fine. So he has that at least.
Yeah, he had some decent results, but definitely not his best clay season this year. So after we had a disappointing result from Rafael Nadal, he lost in straight sets to Nuno Borges, 6-3, 6-2. And then the celebration was a bit underwhelming because Borges had that champagne and eye moment where he doused himself in champagne.
Yeah, he like puts his face up to the sky, pours the entire bottle of champagne over his face. And the minute that first bubble touches his eyes, you could see him realize, like, I've made a grave error and this is not.
I mean, me personally, I've never doused myself in champagne, but I can imagine just from the way, you know, sometimes when that bubbly hits your throat, if that bubbly hit my eye,
it wouldn't be.
It would be a
ideal,
problem.
Yeah, no. But
Yeah.
Borges, I'm sure you'll be excited to know this was a former U.S. college sports star. He went to Mississippi State. He's representing Portugal this week in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be exciting for him.
I love an NCAA success story. And I'm a fan of that route to professional tennis.
No,
I'm
for
not
sure.
gonna lie.
No, for sure. He played really well. He had an amazing week.
And it seems to be working.
He in particular is having an amazing clay season. Like, it was really, really, it was really unfortunate that Nadal wasn't able to take home the win. But obviously he played that semifinal for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
He has only really played 20-ish matches in the past year and a half, to be honest. And I don't know if we were, I don't know what I was expecting, but I think because it's Nadal, it's clay, you just expect him to be able to pull it through. But I think it was good practice ahead of the Olympics. Based on his draw, he's supposed to be, if he wins his first round match in the Olympics, he'll have Djokovic second round. So that is going to be interesting. A reporter asked him, what about, how's he feeling about his potential last dance with Djokovic in the round 2? And he was like, he looked at the reporter like, who said it's the last dance?
Yeah, Rafa needs to stop playing with us because he's the one who brought up this retirement thing in the first place. So, of course, people are going to ask. And now he's like kind of in between. Who says that? Who said that? Like, you did.
I don't get it.
And now for our next match point musing, we had Diana Schneider winning in Budapest.
With the bandana on.
That's her classic look. I think this is her second WTA 250 this season alone.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Which is great.
Oh, yeah, because she's won titles on 3 different surfaces. The youngest player to do so since Caroline Wozniacki.
Yeah, she also came up through the college route. She was at North Carolina State University. She only made her professional WTA Tour debut in 2023. So I feel like that's a pretty quick, like she didn't have too much time to transition into the pro format. And here she is winning 250s, which by the way is not even like the lowest level of the women's tour. She's up there.
She's doing pretty well, yeah. She has a fighter spirit. She's also going to be playing in the Olympics this week, but as an individual neutral athlete, of course, because Russia is not allowed to compete in the Olympics at this time. Then we had Zhang defending her title in Palermo. There's a WTA 250 for our next match point musing. She actually wasn't going to defend her title at all and then took a wild card at the last minute, I guess, to get some practice for the Olympics, obviously, and to defend her title as well. I'm actually thinking about it, and I don't know what Zhang was doing playing a clay tournament after Wimbledon last year.
I think last year she wasn't a Grand Slam finalist. So, they might have been having different techniques and different strategies for her season.
That's fair, for sure.
Which I'd really like to know from like a coaching perspective, how that is. Like, what goes into that decision making? Why after grass would you go back to clay and then go back to hard court? It seems a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
But again, I think the strategies are not just about winning, but also about where can I get points to increase my rankings. So then I get better draws and then I get better wild cards and entries into tournaments.
Yeah, and deeper runs.
Maybe it was
usually
that kind of consideration that went into her and just building confidence.
She had a really decisive quarterfinals match against Jacqueline Christian, 6-1, 6-1. She has now won 8 sets, 6-1 in 2024. In the final, Zhang defeated Muchova, who was looking really, really good after a bout of injuries in 3 sets for the title. So yeah, it was interesting stuff in Palermo. The match point musing that has had me quite literally musing since it happened was...
This is tea. This is real tea.
My little sister likes to call him fine ass feast.
And he knows it.
He's a cutie. If I was in my 20s, yeah.
I'm mad that I wasn't a tennis fan at age 20.
But the guys that are like our contemporaries in the tennis world are not hot. So it doesn't really matter.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Is it that the hot players don't like have longevity in the sport? Is it that they get distracted? What is it?
I'm going to put together some data points on that for our next episode and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I think we need to dive into that. We need to dissect what happens to the hot players beyond like 25.
But yeah, Arthur Fils of France won his biggest title of his career, ATP Hamburg, which is a 500 level tournament. He got into the semis with a walkover from Ruin, who has that persisting wrist issue, also caused him to withdraw from the Olympics recently as well. Fils saved 21 out of 22 break points in the final, which is insane.
And I loved everyone because I just love to see Zverev be disappointed in himself.
Yes, this was the next installation of who gonna beat Zverev, and I was very chuffed that the answer to that was Fils.
It was also a very dramatic match. Like, classic Zverev. He lost his cool. He was being a little bratty. And I think Arthur Fils just like kept playing his game despite all of that. I think Zverev was definitely just being a distraction. But Fils came through. As you said, he saved 21 out of 22 break points in the final. And then there was some drama. He did like an underarm serve.
Yeah, so he was facing break point, and he hit an underarm serve that went out. Then he hit a second serve normally, and Zverev was unfortunately unable to return it because, I mean, he's inconsistent and a loser. So that ball goes out. He wins 6-all. It's time for a tie break. At the changeover, no, at 5-all there was a changeover, or if it was at 5-6, there was a changeover. And as he's walking to his chair, Zverev goes, "You're so unsportsmanlike. You have zero respect." And Fils was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, he was so confused, started like trying to ask him to clarify what he was getting upset about. Obviously, this is Hamburg, where Zverev is from. Like, it's his home tournament. So the crowd is like behind him, booing Fils. The umpire comes down off his chair to like separate them, pushing Fils back to his other side. Anyway, tiebreak comes. He hands it to him in the tiebreak, 7-1. Like, Zverev only got 1 point in the tiebreak. At the end of the match, Fils is doing an interview. You can tell he's pissed. Like, he is livid.
This is one, it's the biggest win of his career, and so I think this is definitely the start of what I hope
he's in
is
good
like
form.
Big deep runs for Arthur Fils.
He's in good form
because this is a big win.
He said that whether he won the match or not, it was one of his best. And even if he had lost, it would have helped him for the rest of his career, because obviously he's playing the crowd. He's playing Zverev. He has to like mentally get through it. There was a point where you couldn't even hear the balls being hit. You couldn't hear the sound of the ball coming.
Because the crowd was so loud.
No,
yeah.
It was raining. It was raining heavily. And Hamburg is one of the only 500 level tournaments with a roof. So luckily they were able to continue. But you couldn't hear, which is very difficult for a player, because you don't know the pace in which the ball is coming if you don't hear it coming off your opponent's racket. So you have no idea what to expect in terms of the shot, because you can't hear it. All you're hearing rain. It was it was a crazy match, like insane.
Yeah. And I would also like to add that just his level was so high. The way he was moving was incredible. He kept coming around the ball to hit the inside out. He was making crazy shots. I think it was just a great match for him. And yeah, he was just the better player than Zverev. And Zverev was upset. But then Zverev, like, he seems to like always pipe down really quickly. By the time they were doing the prize ceremony, Zverev piped down. And I'm like, what was all that for?
I'm not sure, but he very quickly tried to rehab his image, started spraying him with champagne. But he did something quite similar in his round of 16 match with Gaston. There was a double bounce controversy where Gaston said it didn't bounce twice. Zverev insisted he did. It did. He called the supervisor, who refused to play because he got broken and he lost the first set 4-6. Claimed that it was set point that the double bounce controversy happened, made a whole big fuss. Went on to win the match, obviously, but that just seems to be his thing, just like throwing tantrums and lecturing. You have no business lecturing other players on court. He did it to Fritz. He's now done it to Fils. Like, he needs a lecture, if anyone at all. So I'm quite over him. You know, I don't like him at all.
But I don't know why, again, I'm going to say this, the ATP players keep capping for Zverev. Like, why are you letting this man lecture you on court, especially after you beat him?
Fils didn't take it in the moment, but later on in pressers, he was like, "Oh yeah, they have a fine relationship. Zverev is a great champion." Da, da, da. I was like, "Boo!"
It's very annoying. It's giving brat. Somebody needs to hand it to him. Yes. Russian cutie Mira Andreeva.
She took the title in Yas.
Lassie.
Is pronounced Yasi or something like that.
Yes, queen.
Sure. It's an ATP 250. She won because her opponent retired in the third set.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because they were really battling it out. It was 5-7, 7-5.
It was tough.
It was very unclear who was going to be the winner. So Avanesian retired in the third set. I think she was injured. But before that, the two of them were neck and neck, 5-7, 7-5. I could tell that when they announced her retirement, Mira Andreeva was a little disappointed because that's like not how you want to win your very first title on tour. You want to win with a clear, like...
No dispute. Yeah. Decisive win.
Exactly. A decisive win. But I think after she kind of accepted it and went on to celebrate because a win is a win. And she's only 17. She's the youngest woman to win a tour level title since Coco Gauff in 2021. And I think she's so promising. She has like a fighting spirit.
She does.
And you could tell that she's going through similar emotional battles that I think we saw Coco Gauff go through, where you're really young, you're on this big professional tour, you want to win, and then you're always battling your emotions, and you have to go through that process of learning how to control your emotions, because being in control helps you win. You know, being all volatile sends you in different directions when you really just need to be playing your game. So I think she's going to be a great champion, and I can't wait to see what's next for Mira Andreeva.
Then we had Magdalena winning in Prague, which is a WTA 250. She beat her fellow countryman Magdalena Frech 6-1, 6-2. Quite decisive win. The match that stood out to me from that tournament was her match against Noskova, Linda Noskova.
Yeah.
It was a very, very, very tight semifinal. Noskova saved 6 match points, which it's quite interesting because Lynette isn't playing in the Olympics, but Noskova is. She actually has a potential third round with Iga. She's already played her 3 times, by the way, in 2024. She beat her at the Australian Open in round 3. She played her again in Indian Wells round 3. Swiatek won. And she played her again in Miami round 3. And Swiatek won that one as well. So it's so interesting that they keep meeting each other in the third round. But yeah, that was a really, really good match with Noskova and Lynette. Noskova really put up a big fight. I mean, she came back from love to save match point. It was it was crazy to watch. I was just like, wow, this is intense. But unfortunately, she lost in the end. But it's all good because she's going to have a chance this week at Olympics to show her stuff. I think she got some good play time in Prague.
But then Iga is coming off of like an incredible clay season. She dominated at Roland Garros.
Yeah.
So I think everyone's expecting her to dominate again.
She's the favorite for the gold for sure.
For sure. But then you have these kind of wild horses that could really take her out.
It's unfortunate that Rebecca withdrew because that's somebody that really gives Iga the heebie-jeebies. But unfortunately, she's not playing in the Olympics this year. And Putintseva withdrew as well, who is another person who gives Iga the heebie-jeebies. So Iga is looking pretty comfortable now.
She gives Iga the ick.
Yeah.
She gives Iga the ick. Yeah. Iga be like, I need to go to the bathroom, please. Yeah. I can't.
With my notebook.
Yeah.
But speaking of domination, somebody who is doing amazing, and I want to shout it from the rooftops because I love my man, is the one, the only, Matteo Berrettini. The hottie with a body. My husband. It's actually such a shame he's not playing in the Olympics because he's in such good clay form right now. He's back in the top 50. He had an amazing match against Auger Aliassime, 7-6, 7-6 to reach the semifinals in Stade. His match against Tsitsipas, the first set stats of that match, first serve in, 91%. First serve won, 93%. Second serve won, 100%.
100.
No, like I was watching that match.
I was like, with the second serves.
Ooh, so good.
His serve is. What is it that makes his serve good? Because we need to talk about it.
I cannot figure it out because he's not that tall, but he is that fine. Period.
Yeah, I think players just be looking at his face, and then next thing the serve is out.
Literally,
they can't even get to it.
They don't know whether to look at his face or the ball. They're confused. But yeah,
Confused.
he won Stade for the second time. He didn't lose a set all week and dropped serve only once. Then the next week, he played another clay tournament. Kitschkubel.
I don't know how to say it, but
But
all I know is he won back-to-back tournaments.
Yeah, he beat the
this
second
week.
seed in the world, number 21, Tabio, who you know is having an amazing clay season as well. He's from Chile, I believe. He's playing in the Olympics as well. He beat him in straight sets. He has 10 consecutive wins, 20 consecutive sets.
And 2 consecutive finals.
Yeah, it was his 4th final of the year with 8 tournaments played. 3rd title in 2024 and 10th career title. Only Sinner and Alcaraz have 3 or more titles this year, and Berrettini. That's the list.
More.
No, Sinner has more. Sinner has 4. Berrettini and Alcaraz have 3. It's really a shame that he's not playing the Olympics.
Yeah, I feel like Berrettini's season this year has been a bit underrated. I know he's had some tough losses, but it's been a good comeback season because he is coming back from injury. And I feel like people haven't been, giving him the attention that he deserves. But it's okay because here on Serving Up the Tea, we'll always have time for Berrettini.
That's Bay for real. Like, my man. Listen.
So wait, Bams.
Tell me.
A couple other things. So there's some people who turn their nose up to the Olympics.
They said it's on
And
clay.
I'm wondering
They said they
how
wanted to
that's
focus
going.
on hard
I'm
court.
wondering how
They said it's
that's
not
going
it's
for
not,
them because
they
it's
said
giving,
it doesn't make sense. It's not ideal.
It's giving
Where
you ain't
it is
even
in
made
the
it past the round
tournament.
of 16.
Ben Shelton, as you say,
Yeah.
he skipped the Olympics to focus on hard court. Lost in the round of 16. Tiafoe skipped the Olympics to focus on hard courts. Lost in the quarterfinals, both in Atlanta. And I know they are sick.
Because they don't got none of the merch. Team USA has the best merch.
First of all, one of their outfits looked like they go into space. The other one looked like they go into a mean, bombless brunch. They look fly.
And then everybody's in Skims underwear.
It's crazy.
But yeah, Ben Shelton and Tiafoe have no USA merch.
And no title this week from Atlanta.
Next.
Good news for our Park Rangers. Parks won in Warsaw.
Yep.
That's a WTA 125.
We got another win. Her second WTA 125 title of the year. And I'm wondering, what is stopping Alicia Parks from going to the next level? She seems to be good when it's a 125. Let it be a 250. Not so good. I don't know what it is.
I think she needs a new coach.
Yeah, I would agree. She needs a coach. I think she needs a different perspective to get her over the line.
I definitely think her dad should stay on her team in a main capacity, but I do think that she needs a coach to step in.
She needs that support from her dad. I think just to get into that winner mindset and mentality and like form, she needs a coach with a different perspective because clearly she has the talent, but someone needs to bring it out of her. But this win is timely because now it looks like she could be a candidate for a wild card at the U.S. Open, which I'm sure she would be very happy about.
For sure.
Okay, so you want to jump to Olympics?
Olympianos. Did you know that the 2024 Olympics are the first to achieve full gender parity? Half men, half women. It's dope.
What does that mean?
It's an equal number of athletes, female and male.
And is that a thing on purpose or it's just naturally happened? Because I'm assuming like everyone just input their athletes and then this is the result.
Yeah, basically it just means that there's more women athletes that have qualified for the Olympics than before.
I love that.
Yeah, dope stuff. And this year's medals have bits of the Eiffel Tower in them. They did like some renovations over the years, and pieces that were removed and kept were infused into the medals. So each medal has 18 grams of the Eiffel Tower iron in them.
And one thing about the Olympics being in France, in Paris specifically, is that you have all these Parisian like fashion houses and maisons getting involved in the process of producing this event. I believe the medals were made by Louis Vuitton.
Heard that.
Yeah. And so everyone was really excited that they chose to infuse them with fragments of the Eiffel Tower.
Very cool stuff.
And I think from the opening ceremony, we saw that tennis was having a global moment. There were so many notable faces, but tennis had more than most. I mean, Coco Gauff was the flag bearer for America alongside LeBron James. Serena and Rafa held the flame, and then they passed it on to Emily Mauresmo. Also holding the flame alongside Serena and Rafa was Nadia Comaneci, who's one of the best gymnasts of all time. So gymnastics always has a moment as well at the Olympics, gotta mention. But tennis, yeah. I think usually Olympic tennis is not a huge focus, but I think because tennis is big globally, just in regular season, they also paid attention to it in France.
Yeah, I think it's a few players who don't recognize the importance of the Olympics, but I think by and large, most players are quite chuffed to represent their country at the Olympics. I think everybody finds it to be a great honor. We have 41 different countries being represented, and excluding Russians and Belarusians, about only, I think, 13 players or so voluntarily chose to skip, like without like injury or something.
Yeah.
Svitolina was also the flag bearer for Ukraine, which was awesome.
Major moment, yeah. She's been carrying Ukrainian tennis, as you've said.
She's like funding it, yeah. So, I mean, tennis is really, I think, part of the fabric of the Olympics. I think also Svitolina took bronze in Tokyo 4 years ago. So I think it was a great moment to have her hold it up.
I do think tennis being at the forefront of the Paris Olympics also has to do with the fact that they are a Grand Slam hosting nation. So they have incredible tennis facilities. They have Stade Roland Garros. If it was in any other country that doesn't have that facility, tennis might not have been such a big part of the opening ceremony. But
I thought it was so cool that Nadal had the opportunity to hold the torch like that, because I mean that's not really normal considering he's not French, he's Spanish. But I think what his legacy means to Paris in particular, because of what a big impact he's had he has a statue at Roland Garros. Like
he does.
You know,
it's crazy when you think about it. He has a statue there.
He is, and when I watched Nadal holding that torch, I had goosebumps. Like, that is what you call aura. I was like, huh? There is like, I know people love Federer, but honestly, it doesn't get bigger for me than Nadal on the men's side of tennis. I'm sorry, it's Nadal for me. Like, Federer is cool, I get it, gentleman, easy. Djokovic has that go-getter, but it's Nadal for me, seriously. Like,
it's Nadal.
It's Nadal for me. Grand Slam numbers, it's Nadal for me. I'm sorry to say. So that was amazing. He's also staying in the Olympic Village. Him and Carlos are both staying there. Carlos said he wanted the full experience.
I wanted to talk about this Olympic Village because Coco Gauff has been giving us like real insider looks as to what it's like in the Olympic Village. And I think it really is a humbling experience for these pro athletes, because especially the ones who are at the top of their game, they're staying in 5-star hotels. They're, they have their entourage with them. This is like, you're in a dorm.
Cardboard beds.
On a cardboard bunk bed.
What's this Australian player's name who's been doing the vlogs? Is it Daria Savi?
I think it is.
She's been doing some vlogs. They've been very funny.
She has a vlog.
They like tested out the beds and stuff. It was very funny. But yeah, the Olympic Village is the great equalizer, honey. Everybody's in there. But they seem to be having such a good time. There's like a lot of camaraderie. People are loving it.
They're having a good time. I also think that this is, tennis is an individual sport, right? And what the Olympics does is it gives the tennis players a chance to be competing not just for themselves, but for a team. And I think that is really special.
And there's a wider team also with like a lot of athletes from different sports as well. It's cool.
Different sports. Now Coco's alongside LeBron James. When they were doing the flag bearing, she did a TikTok where she was like, LeBron James, like she was like in awe that she's standing next to this legend.
She called him Mr. LeBron James.
It was so cute. I love that the players who decided to go, I love a good bit of patriotism. I think it's important to have that sense of, I'm gonna rep your set, rep your country, and I'm loving the Olympic vibes. And I think the people who haven't entered, because you never know what's gonna happen in 4 years, it's like this is a once in a lifetime chance. No matter if you do in the end of your career enter for Olympics, you just never know. It only comes by every 4 years. So I think some people are gonna regret.
I've seen a whole bunch of withdrawals. Sinner's out, Rune is out, Damon R is out. But what's really upsetting, aside from the fact that Sinner is my favorite player, is the fact that Sinner and Musetti were the first seeds for doubles, and they might have played Alcaraz and Nadal.
Alcaraz and Nadal, yeah. That definitely would have been exciting.
But Alcaraz and Nadal looked very, very good in their opening doubles match. They played the 6 seeds and beat them pretty decisively, I'd say. You could literally see Carlos learning on the job. Like, Nadal was doing his big one. Like, he looked good, explosive, backhand volley, running for balls. And you could see Carlos like making some mistakes, but tweaking. By the end of the second set, he was locked in. So I'm really excited to see how his doubles journey progresses. Yeah.
I think it was interesting seeing them learn how to play together because it's their first time playing doubles together. I think also Alcaraz was definitely looking at Nadal as like a mentor in this kind of journey towards doubles in the Olympics and feeding off of him and his experience. And he's been here before.
Nadal did say that he is, he regrets not being like playing doubles with Carlos before, like missing the opportunity to play with him before. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. I wonder if when he retires from singles, he'll keep playing doubles because he's actually a very good doubles player.
I feel like that thought came to my head as I was watching them. I was like, Nadal, if you can't run and be as athletic as you need to be for singles, I would love to see him go a few more years playing doubles and winning because he's definitely the one.
Yeah. He said he's excited to play with the best player in the world right now and the one one of the best in history was his direct quote.
They have such respect for each other.
It's very, very, very cute. Carlos said that he's already experienced this. He knows what it's like to play in the Olympics, to win a gold in both singles and doubles. I'm new. I'm the rookie, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and listen to him. And that's exactly what he was doing yesterday. Rafa said jump. Carlos was
jumping.
It was it was lovely.
And I think their on-court chemistry was good.
It was. It definitely was. The Vamos. I saw so many Vamoses yesterday. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, oh. Vamos here, vamos there. It was cute.
There were a few shots that Nadal made, like down the line forehands, passing the other players, where you could see like he was just getting back his confidence and just feeling like the one again. So it was a great match to watch.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. Well, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I can't believe I'm seeing Carlos and Nadal play doubles together. The entire time I was in disbelief. But anyway... Bit of sad news for me and the tennis community at large. Andy Murray is retiring post-Olympics, and so is Angelique Kerber. They are both 3-time Grand Slam champions. They both ended the year 2016 as year number ones. They both medaled at the Rio 2016 Olympics. Dan Evans, who's playing men's doubles with Andy Murray, said that the doubles are his priority over the singles because he knows that it is Murray's last Olympics and the end of his career. So I thought that was very sweet. As you know, I love Andy Murray, and I'm quite sad to see him go. But I suspect we'll see him soon in somebody's coaching box because he really wants to be a coach, like very badly. He's made it.
I think he would be a great coach.
Yeah, I think so too.
He has such great perspective and wisdom about the game, about life as a tennis player. Whoever gets him as their coach, very lucky.
Yeah.
And Angelique Kerber, she was a big girl back in her day.
Yeah, she was. And she showed it again.
Yeah. She beat Naomi Osaka in straight sets.
7-5, 6-3. Improving their head-to-head to 5-2. I mean, I didn't expect Naomi to beat her badly, but I didn't expect Naomi to lose either. Kerber looked good. The redirection of pace with equal pace, the precision. I was surprised, truly. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, when Kerber's on, she's on.
And she was on last night. And Naomi was also very off, though. I will say the footwork was bad. She was moving slowly, missing overheads that she had at least an hour to prepare for. I mean, the ball was moving so slowly. I didn't know what was happening, and she still missed it. For. No, like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like, the ball was like, hey, I'm heading over, be there in an hour. She was like, all right, missed it. So I don't know.
I'm definitely praying for our girl because this is not the comeback we wanted, but she has to keep going.
It's time for Olympic dreams,
nightmares, and realities.
Ace, I'm challenging you to get at least 2 right this time. All right?
I gotta do better. I gotta do better.
I can't be a predictions princess by myself. Let's go.
I'm gonna get real. I'm gonna get real this time. So my dream is Coco Gauff. Her draw is looking very doable. I'm not gonna lie.
What she got?
Round 1, she has Tomljanovic. She better blast her into outer space in that Team USA uniform.
Okay.
Round 2.
You don't know those players, do you?
I'm like, who the hell is that? Carlia Marina. Which, lends to my point, is looking doable. Right. Round 3, Andreescu, big hitter, but on a comeback. Vekic, she might pose a problem. Towson, get out of here. Quarterfinals. Sakari, Kostyuk, Putinseva's out. So Sakari and Kostyuk are the only issues there. Kostyuk has had good success on clay. Sakari, unpredictable. She might be out in round 2.
She's probably.
You never know with her. Yeah. Semi-final. She's either gonna face Paolini, Pegula, or Krejcikova. This is where it gets dicey because all 3 of those players very consistent. Pegula and Coco obviously know each other very well, so they're probably gonna push each other to the limit. Paolini is on a legendary run, 2 Grand Slam finals in a row. So yeah, this is definitely a dream when I really think about it. Coco making it far, but I have her at least at a quarterfinal or semifinal.
Okay.
So
is that a dream or reality? Sorry.
That's a dream because I think my reality is Iga Swiatek. It's on clay. She just won in that very same stadium. I think Iga Swiatek has that mentality where she's just coming back to do the same thing that she did 2 months ago.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Iga has Ostapenko or Collins in the quarterfinals. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, but Ostapenko, she might be firing today and then tomorrow.
Yeah, to be fair.
The forehand is going out. So you never know. And then Swiatek just has that ability to overcome with just her mindset alone. And then the one who gives her the heebie-jeebies is out. Putintseva is gone.
And Rebecca.
So...
All right.
And Rebecca sick. She needs some immunize. Nightmare. I don't know. I don't really have a nightmare here. I would be happy for whoever wins. If it's an underdog, I'll be happy. Is there a player playing in the Olympics that I definitely don't want to win? On the women's side, there's no nightmare. I support all women.
Okay. Women supporting women. I'm with it.
Yeah.
For me, on the women's side, a dream of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if I'm being honest.
Your dream already out.
Yeah.
I knew it.
God dang. Yeah, man. If I'm being frank.
I mean, I guess that could be your nightmare.
I mean, my nightmare already came true.
In the first.
All right, new dream. Paolini takes it. Gold. Coco silver.
I don't even think that's that much of a dream because that could actually happen. 3rd time's a charm.
I actually don't know if it could happen because Coco and Paulina are on the same side of the draw, which means so. Oh no, that could happen because that's semifinals, so she gets silver. No, she would get bronze. She'd be playing for 3rd place. Okay, so Paulini bronze, Corey, gold.
Swiatek silver.
I mean, I guess maybe Zhang silver. Let me get Shantek out of here. Yeah.
Somebody needs to do it.
Dreams, right? Nightmares, and reality on. And my nightmare would be if Krejcikova wins gold. I don't know why, but I just really don't want that to happen. I don't know why. I can't explain. Nobody asked me any questions. Don't want to hear it. If Krejcikova or Zachary take gold, I'm livid, pissed actually. So I've said it.
I just can never see Zachary doing that, so I don't even bother to say it. But yeah, that would irk me. That would irk me.
Oh, what would be really nice though is if Ukraine took a medal, but I'm not. Unfortunately, I've already subscribed to my things. The realities are Ego will probably take gold though, so I think let's get serious. On the men's side, dreams, nightmares, and realities. Dream is for Nadal to get gold, Carlos to get silver. And I mean, anybody could take the bronze. I really don't care. Like, do what y'all want with it. Cut it up into pieces like they did on Mean Girls. I don't really care. Y'all can do what y'all want with that. Not my business. A nightmare, of course, would be Zverev getting anywhere near that podium. I'm not playing. Like, get lost. But I'm not wasting my nightmare on him this week because I'm not thinking about Zverev anymore. He's not worth my time. I am going to say that my nightmare would be for Nadal to not be on the podium at all. It would really make me sad. Actually, no. God forgive me. I don't hate Novak Djokovic. I don't. I have no issues with Novak. I think he's a great guy, but I do not want him to get a gold medal in his career. I don't want it to happen. I don't want him to have one. So my nightmare would be Djokovic getting the gold medal. I'm sorry to the Djokovic fans. Please don't come for me. I'm so sorry. But I just don't want him have that in his resume. And you can't beat me up.
So my dreams, nightmares, and realities on the men's side, definitely dreaming for Nadal to have like the Olympics of his life and go home with a medal. I don't really care if it's first, second, or third, because I feel like in his current form, that would just be a huge feat on its own. Nightmare would be, I can't even say Zverev because again, I'm just losing that fire to care about what he does and doesn't do.
Yeah.
And I'm increasingly comfortable with the fact that somebody's going to take out Zverev.
Yeah,
it just seems to be consistently happening.
He is the defending gold champion, though, just to note. But that was hardcore, and that was in Tokyo. And that was COVID time, so there was no audience.
There was no audience, and yeah, that was a long time ago. So dream Nadal making it far. I don't really care how far once he gets a medal. Nightmare would be Nadal not making it far, if that's possible. And my reality.
Yeah, it's tough now. Ooh.
Who in real life got this on the men's side?
The thing about it, though, is that Olympic tennis is best of 3, right? That's my concern in picking Carlos as my reality, is that Olympic tennis is best of 3. And
because he's not a best of 3 guy.
He lacks focus. Oh, let me not lie, though. He did beat Djoko in straight sets in Wimbledon, and I was surprised that he was able to keep focus for that long. I mentioned it on our last episode. If he brings that same energy to the Olympics, I think he's good. But if he does his little things where he gives people space to come in and is dropping serve randomly at 5-4 and things, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Yeah,
that's not gonna work.
So I'm gonna say my reality is gonna be a member of the last class of big 3 suspects.
What did you call him? Last class of big 3 suspects? Who told you? Where did you get that from?
Because they were trying to talk about they're the next big 3.
You mean the first class of next gen?
Yes.
Okay. It's like next class big 3 suspects. Where is she getting this from?
I was just talking on the fly. They were saying that they're going to be the next big 3 and it never happened.
They were the first next gen. Yeah.
Yeah.
First class of next gen. Period. So that's Medvedev, Tsitsipas, those guys.
I think it's going to be one of them because they're pretty good at best of 3 tennis, and they have never converted in best of 5. They also have pretty good results on clay, Tsitsipas in particular, and Casper Ruud. Is Casper Ruud in the Olympics?
Yes.
Right. So that would be my reality, one of those players. I don't think Djokovic is in form to be able to be on the clay like that, especially in best of 3. I think someone's going to best him pretty easily, actually. So
excuse us.
That would be mine.
So last and but certainly not least, we're going to get into some doubles troubles. There are such interesting mixed doubles teams of singles players that are playing. Mixed doubles draw is just 16 teams, which means that only 3 match wins are needed for a medal. I definitely think that the draw should be expanded, but whatever. So we have Corey playing with Taylor Fritz. I personally think that it would have been a better pairing for her to play with Tommy Paul, but let's see how they do. Zhang is playing with Triple Z, her countryman from China. Siniakova and Machak are playing together, which is so interesting because they just broke up and unfollowed each other on Instagram. So I'm confused by that. And I want to see how that works.
I guess they're keeping it business as usual.
Hey, Zverev and Siegmund are playing, which is literally the worst team I've ever heard of because I hate both of those players. Like,
I hate both of them. Like Laura Siegmund. Ugh.
The umpire better prepare themselves because it's going to be...
because the two of them be complaining, throwing tantrums, tactics, distraction.
We're heading into a couple of very contentious matches with those two paired up. And then we have Medvedev and Andreeva, which is super cute. They are both...
I think that's really cute.
They're both individual athletes because, again, Russia is not represented. So everyone is jokingly saying that they are playing for Antarctica because the blank flag and the Antarctica flag look the same. So it's very funny. And then Sakari and Tsitsipas are teaming up for Mother Greece. So we'll see how that goes. None of these players, except for Siniakova and Corey, to my knowledge, are like super prolific in doubles. So let's see. We have another.
I mean, Fritz made a cute joke the other day that Corey is gonna be carrying him.
Yeah, I saw that. That was so funny.
Tournament.
That was so funny. He's funny,
and I love that. Fritz seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's cute. And then we have some singles players teaming up for the men's and women's doubles. We have Auger Aliassime playing with Milos Raonic, who has been riddled with injury as well, playing for Canada. They're both playing for Canada, obviously. And I'm really interested to see how that works. They both have a pretty nasty serve. I've never seen Raonic play doubles, so I'm interested to see what that looks like. Andreeva is teaming up with Schneider for a team of baby girls. I'm very excited to see what that looks like. Paulini and Irani are back at it again. Goff and Pagula for USA. Krejcikova and Siniakova are back, as I mentioned. Winning team. They have 7 doubles Grand Slam titles between the two of them, so that should be good. Jari and Tabilo are teaming up for Chile, which should be very cool. And Muchova and Noskova are the other team playing for Czech alongside Krejcikova and Siniakova for women's doubles. So that's going to be a very interesting doubles tournament. I'm very interested to see how it goes. Speaking of doubles, a very interesting rule for replacing withdrawals at the Olympics under the ITF rules is that if any player withdrew or continues to withdraw, as there's still withdrawals coming in as even today, after July 19th, they can only be replaced by players already completing in another event, which obviously is doubles. And so they're going to be singles withdrawals are replaced by the highest ranked singles players already in the doubles draw, which is why you had the match yesterday with Djokovic beating Matthew Ebden 6-love 6-1. And he's ranked like 780 something in the world, hasn't played singles in 2 years. And it's a bit frustrating, obviously, because there's other singles players who would have loved the chance to play in the Olympics. But unfortunately, those are just the rules are the rules. The Olympics and the ITF are saying that it's because, you know, they don't want to put pressure on players to like get there from like wherever they are and play or whatever. Maybe logistically, it may be a nightmare, I guess, with like kits and all that stuff like that.
I think it's definitely a logistics issue. And I've seen this in previous Olympics where I know in the gymnastics for sure they had rules where you are allowed to replace a gymnast with someone who's not already there. And it was a nightmare. You had gymnasts flying in like overnight and arriving in a whole different country, whole different climate, whole different altitude. And it's kind of dangerous as well for the players. So I feel like this consideration is best for the players. But it also gives these players who would have never made the singles draw on their own the chance to play. So that's a bit exciting. But then it's a bit disappointing because you want to see a strong matchup. So seeing Djokovic just like blast someone into outer space, not that fun.
Tough. Really, really tough. Really, really tough. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this week of Olympics, not just for tennis. I love seeing all the other sports that I wouldn't ordinarily watch. I think skateboarding is in this year as well. I think breakdancing is also in. Not that those are what I'm looking forward to watching.
Not the B-boys.
Yeah, they want to pop, lock, and drop it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Olympics this year. Tennis is looking very interesting. It's unfortunate that we've had so many withdrawals so far, but I think that it'll still shape up to be a pretty good tournament.
I think so. And again, it's just a different vibe for the players. And I'm happy for them being able to represent their country, be part of a team, take medals home, not just for themselves, but for their nation. It's all very poetic and moving.
Yep. And aside from Olympics, next on tour, we have the City Open.
Yeah. Right after the Olympics, you go right back to hard court season and preparation.
No, it's happening concurrently, actually. It starts on the 31st. It's happening this week. For the players who are focusing on the hard court swing rather than the Olympics, they'll mostly be in DC. Sabalenka's playing, Shelton is playing, Badosa got a wild card to play. So we'll keep our eye on that one while also keeping our eye on Paris. And we'll be back in 2 semanas to talk to you guys about what happened at the Olympics and what's happening on the hard courts of the USA and what to expect.
Yeah, and with that, game, set, chat.
Game, set, chat, baby.
Bye.